All right, welcome to today's CPWR webinar on our Spanish language materials and resources. My name is Jessica Bunting, and I am the CPWR host and tech support for this event. So before we get started, I'm just going to go over a few quick things. First, if you're having any technical difficulties, you can email me by responding to the WebEx reminder email that went out about a half an hour ago. Or if you're logged in, you can send me a message via the chat box. If the chat or Q&A boxes are not showing up on the right-hand side of your screen, there are a series of buttons, round buttons at the bottom of your screen that will make them appear by clicking on the associated button. If you're having any trouble hearing the audio over your computer speakers, we recommend calling in using your phone instead. We will take time at the end of today's presentation to answer questions. You can enter the questions at any time in the Q&A or chat box. You will be muted the whole time, so you do have to type them in rather than using the hand raise function. We will do our best to answer all of them at the end of the event, and I will also be recording this webinar in full, and will automatically email that link to everyone along with a PDF of the slides following the event, so you can access all of these resources easily. Our presenter today is Kathy Tolentino-Gonzalez, and Kathy is the Research to Practice Program Assistant here at CPWR. In addition to her many other duties, she does a lot of our Spanish language translation. And as we mentioned in the description, since she is a native Spanish speaker, Kathy will also be re-recording this webinar in Spanish. I will include that link in the follow-up email I send out after the event, but please bear with us. It may take a few additional days for me to send that out since we need time to record the second webinar. Great, and with that, I will hand it over to Kathy for the presentation. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone. As Jessica mentioned, I am the program assistant for the Research to Practice team, and an area of focus for me has been the English to Spanish translation here at CPWR. During the last few years, we've stepped up efforts to ensure that Spanish-speaking construction workers and their employers have access to safety and health information. Before I review the types of information that we now have available in Spanish, I want to quickly review some slides developed by Dr. Sue Dong, Director of CPWR's Data Center. As you'll see, the data in these slides highlight why it's important to have safety and health materials available in Spanish. This first slide shows the steady growth in Hispanic workers in the construction industry. Between 1990 and 2015, the percentage of workers who identify themselves as Hispanic increased from 9 to 28.6%. By 2015, roughly 2.4 million construction workers, or 24.7% of the industry workforce, were born in foreign countries, and the majority, 84.3% of foreign-born construction workers, were born in Latin American countries. In addition, nearly 30% of construction workers spoke a language other than English at home. Hispanic construction workers are at a high risk for injuries and fatalities. As this chart shows, while the fatality rate has declined and the gap between Hispanic and white non-Hispanics has narrowed, Hispanic workers still run a greater risk of suffering a fatal injury. Our goal in developing more materials in Spanish is to help Hispanic workers and their employers recognize hazards and prevent injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. Now I'm quickly going to review some of the free resources we have available in Spanish. Let's start with the Best Built Plans program. This program includes resources for contractors and workers to engage in practices that will reduce manual materials handling at each stage of the project to prevent strain and sprain injuries. The planning resources available in Spanish include questions to consider at each project stage, planning spreadsheets, checklists, information on weights of common building materials, and options for storing and lifting materials. The program also includes training materials that can be used at the pre-job phase or on the job to raise workers' awareness of potential hazards and safe practices, and a video on how to use the program. The program also includes games that workers can play on their smartphones that reinforce safe practices and are linked to a Toolbox Talk and hazard alert card. There are also infographics that can be used in articles, social media, or enlarged as posters to post as a visual reminder of safe practices on a job site. The Safety Climate Assessment Tool helps management and safety professionals learn more about 8 leading safety climate indicators and includes information on how to strengthen them to improve job site safety climate. Both the workbook and the online assessment tool are available in Spanish. There is also a version for small contractors called the SCAT-SC. This version is designed for contractors interested in improving their safety climate, but is designed to help small construction companies get started. It is more streamlined and also has an online option. There's also the Foundations for Safety Leadership training program that can be incorporated as an OSHA 30-hour course elective or taught as a standalone exercise. This program is designed to teach the 5 critical skills for frontline safety leaders to practice on the job site and includes instructor guides, PowerPoint presentations, a student handbook, and an FSL handbook and self-assessment and personal action plan, and related Toolbox Talks. There's also a training program on construction noise and hearing loss that was developed based on surveys conducted with hundreds of trainers and thousands of construction workers. The program includes a 60-minute module, a 30-minute module, and 10 to 15-minute exercises that can be used as a part of the training modules or on their own as refreshers. CPWR has developed several resources to help prevent nail gun injuries that are housed in a special section of the nailgunfacts.org website. The section of the website includes information on the risk and how to prevent injuries, frequently asked questions, a hazard alert card, a toolbox talk, and infographics like the one shown on this slide. We also have a Spanish section on the StopConstructionFalls.com website that includes posters, videos, fact sheets, infographics, hazard alerts on fall harnesses, scaffolds, ladders, aerial lifts, and toolbox talks on many more fall-related topics to raise awareness of fall hazards and how to prevent a fall. I've mentioned hazard alerts a couple of times by now. We have a growing library of hazard alert cards in English and Spanish that are available both in print and online, as shown with this silica hazard alert. You can see a list of all the topics available and download all of the Spanish hazard alerts on CPWR.com. We also have a Toolbox Talk series available in both English and Spanish. The series currently includes over 60 topics, and we are regularly adding more. We currently have 4 physician alerts on different topics available in both English and Spanish. This slide shows the Spanish alert on occupational contact dermatitis among construction workers. These alerts include a section that the worker keeps to help them work safely, and a section they fill out and give to their doctor to help ensure that they are properly diagnosed and treated. And we have a series of infographics on different topics, including the ones on opioids and trench safety shown on this slide. All of the infographics are available to print as posters or share on social media. We have many videos available in Spanish on CPWR's YouTube channel. This slide shows one of our newest videos on ladder safety, which we developed with our Roofing R2P partnership. This video includes information on the free NIOSH ladder safety app, which is also available in Spanish. Finally, we post and tweet at least weekly on our Spanish resources, currently available and new resources, and encourage you to follow us on social media for daily updates on what's new in research and tips on how to work safely. In addition to websites and social media, we also use other ways to share safety and health information, including presentations, articles, industry partners from the insurance industry, trade associations, unions, and the National Hispanic Contractors Association. We'd welcome your ideas for new materials and how to best share these resources with our target audiences. And now I'll turn it back to Jessica for some Q&A.
Thank you, Kathy. The first question that we got in, I will actually just answer regarding a PDF version of the slides. And for anyone who missed my intro, yes, I will send out a PDF of the slides so you'll have easy access to all of the links that Kathy shared today. I'll also share a recording of this event as well as a re-recording of the webinar in Spanish to share with Spanish speakers. All of those will automatically be emailed out to everyone who registered for today's event. You don't have to follow up with me directly. All right. Do we have any other questions about what's available? All right, I don't see anything coming in, but you have my contact information, and you can feel free, excuse me, after checking out our resources to follow up with me if you have any additional suggestions. And we do have a question about just what is considered a small contractor. And the number that we typically use is fewer than 20 employees. All right. Next question, Kathy, is there any information on cultural learning materials? No. I have Eileen here as well, who heads our R2P department.
So I'm not sure if this is going to answer your question or not, but if you're interested in materials on how we make our documents more culturally relevant, there have been studies done on that. So and we're happy to find those and share them with you. So if I didn't answer your question, please let us know.
And follow-up to that is just a clarification on differences in backgrounds and perspectives to keep in mind in outreach with foreign-born workers in particular. So information, we have the communications writing for the construction audience, which has some information about how to craft messages specific that fit the language needs and educational needs of your audience.
And we do have, it just occurred to me, we have a study that was recently done where one of the researchers took our SCAT for small contractors and tested it with a group of small Hispanic contractors and their employees, and that gets into some of the information that the person asking the question is looking for. So that's on our website, and maybe Jessica can include that as a link when she sends out the other information.
Yes, I can send that out as well. I can send out both of those links, actually. Okay. I'm getting tons of questions in now. I guess we just had a little bit of a delay. All right, going back up, question on how can we get printed material?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, cpwr.com. All of our materials are available for printing. I have a question here. Maybe you didn't. It says my Q&A. The resources are free, so you can print them from cpwr.com. And if you have any trouble, you can always email us, and we can help you.
Yes, thank you. And also, just a quick mention that there are a few things, or at least the hazard alert cards, the one on silica, we have an actual pocket-sized print version. We don't have all of the Spanish hazard alerts in the tri-fold pocket-sized version available. You can always print them offline, but for our materials that are in print versions, there is ordering information to contact our communications department and order those on the website when you go to look at the PDF versions. Okay. Our next question is, do you have any information about concrete slab construction and frame shoring? Eileen, that would probably be a question for you.
In terms of safety information for those, and
specifically in Spanish, I assume.
Specifically in Spanish. Let's see. So it was concrete slab construction, and so our silica materials would be relevant to that. The dermatitis and the materials that we have on skin safety would probably be relevant to both of those, to that topic. Those are two items that come to mind. We have Toolbox Talks and hazard alert cards, and then the physician's alert that Kathy mentioned earlier on dermatitis.
And if there is something specific, again, like we said, we're always taking suggestions. So you may want to go check out the Toolbox Talks and hazard alert cards specifically. And, you know, we're always making new Toolbox Talks based on the needs of those in the field. So you can always reach out once you've had a look, and if there's something else that you'd like us to work on creating, definitely let us know. Okay. We have a question that I actually am going to have to defer to our data center and follow up on. The question is, what are the forklift fatality differences between Hispanics and non-Hispanics? And so I just want to mention that we do have a construction chart book with a lot of data available, as well as quarterly data reports available on our website. And so I can send out links to those for some more data information. But what I will also do is bounce this question to Sue Dong in our data center, and I can download the questions and who asked them. So I will follow up with the person who asked that after the event once I have more of an answer. Next question is, when I go to the web links, will the information be in both English and Spanish? Yes, it'll either be right next to one another, or it'll be obvious how to get to the Spanish versions and the English ones. Yeah.
And if I can just add to that, that for like the noise training program that Kathy talked about, we have the left-hand sidebar will identify if there's a link there in Spanish to the Spanish program.
Yeah, there's like a branch. So when you navigate on CPWR.com and you access the noise training program, when you click the noise training program link on the left side, there will be a small branch underneath with the noise training program's title in Spanish. And so that page will be completely in Spanish, and the resources on that page will also download in Spanish as well.
just to sort of try to show real quickly what Kathy is talking about, you can see I'm navigating to our Research to Practice library right now. I'm going to show you an easier way to find all of this too. But you can see over here on the left, it's specified in the menu what we have available in Spanish, and it's on a whole separate page. I believe Best Built Plans has a separate Spanish page. So some of them, all of the resources will be split off into a second Spanish page. Some of them, like the hazard alert cards and Toolbox Talks, for example, will be listed by topic, and they will both be accessible right next to or on top of one another. The one other thing that I do want to point out is a very easy way to find things on our website is this recently added A to Z index, and we've tried to list things out, as you can see on this first page, in both English and Spanish right here in the A to Z index so that you can easily access both. And that again is a new feature, so we're working on adding things to it all the time.
And if I can just add, if there's something that you're looking for and you're having difficulty finding, you're welcome to reach out to any of us, and we're happy to help.
Yes. Okay. We got another question in that Kathy already answered. I just want to reiterate that all of our resources available in both English and Spanish are free. Question of, will these materials be on SmartMark?
So some of the materials are on SmartMark. Our noise training program is, and I'd have to check with Gary Gustafson, our training director, on the other items, but I know that he and his staff have been making an effort to make that connection, so we'll definitely follow up with them and make sure they are.
Okay. Do you have any Spanish information on ironwork rigging?
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything specifically, but if there's a specific safety issue, well, that would be needed, we'd be happy to do it. We do have information on, and this may not answer your question, but we have a lot of information in Spanish on fall protection, and so there may be some relevant materials in there. But again, if you look at our materials and there's a safety, or I should say a hazard that we're not addressing related to rigging, just let us know.
And just a quick note from Linda Goldenhart on our staff that the FSL is available on SmartMark as well. I don't know if you said that, Eileen. A question about the A to Z index and where it is located. It is just on the lower left-hand side of the screen, this black bar right below Join Our Mailing List. You can click on the A to Z index button there, so it should show up on whatever page you're looking at. It should consistently be there. Okay. Next question is, to share the materials or inform construction workers and employers, have you considered contacting different consulates? They may be able to help disseminate the information.
We know our colleagues at NIOSH have been in contact with the consulates, and it's a very good idea, so it's something we should definitely follow up on, so thank you.
I see a couple other things on here that are great comments and suggestions for organizing Spanish translations by industry categories. And I'm not going to read these out loud, but we are very appreciative of them, and I may be following up with a few people to move some of these suggestions forward. So thank you again for that. one more question. Do you have a source for translation of construction terms and equipment from English to Spanish? I know OSHA has their dictionary. Kathy?
Yeah, so OSHA has at least 4 dictionaries, both from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. One of them is on construction terms specifically. I also find it helpful to just use the search bar on OSHA's website. A lot of their pages, there's a little link at the right top hand corner where you can click Spanish, and it'll pull up the page in Spanish for you. So that's a great source for a translation that we use here often.
And I can link to that as well in my follow-up email.
And I just want to mention that one thing that we didn't cover in this presentation is our Silica website, silicasafe.org. The whole website is not in Spanish, but we do have some resources on that page in Spanish, including OSHA's, the Q&As that they developed are in Spanish, and the Q&As that we've developed just based on feedback we've gotten are also in Spanish. So maybe Jessica could include that link as well.
Sure. All right. It looks like we are at the end of the list of questions. Again, if you have questions about anything that we didn't answer, feel free to reach out directly. Or if you think of any questions or suggestions once you've had a look at all of our different resources, again, feel free to just shoot me an email or contact all of our contact information is on cpwr.com, so you can contact any of us going forward. And for the people that I need to follow up with, again, I will be doing that offline. Great. So thank you again, Kathy, for the presentation and for all the help getting these resources out there.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure. Have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone.